All right, well, welcome back to another episode of Political Animals. Today we're going to be focusing on a young man named Tyler Robinson who shot Charlie Kirk. So more information has come out that supposedly he has a trans lover. Supposedly he comes from a right-wing, what they call a right-wing family, a Republican family, and he has political leanings. So we don't know for sure if he really is a leftist, but the governor of Utah is saying that he is. We're not really focused on that today. What we're focused on is the level of violence, political violence, not just political violence, imperial violence, um, mass shootings which aren't politically motivated, and general violence in America. America is a country that, in which, for lack of more eloquent terms, guns and violence and toxic masculinity are a religion in America. There's over 300 million guns in America, and the average male and female, whether they're left or right, owns guns. The average American is in favor of war, supporting a war against Ukraine. They're finally turning the tide a little bit on Israel's genocide, but they're not even too worried about that. If this genocide had been taking place in Ukraine, they would have been against it. So they not only do they have we have a problem of violence in this country, we have an imperialistic attitude in which third world countries and people of color are considered to be less than human or have less rights than white people do, which is not surprising for a country that was built off of slavery. America was built off of slave labor. The advantage that the West has now over the rest of the world in education, in arms production, in medical technology, everything was based on 300 years of free labor. So getting back to this shooting, you have a lot. There's a war between the liberals and the liberals and the far right over this thing. But when we take a look at it, it's very disgusting that certain people are gloating over this guy's death, saying, "Oh, we have no empathy for him." I don't know what empathy is, to be honest with you. I don't care about empathy, but I think that no matter what, when you have a society in which people gloat over somebody gets shot in the neck, I saw a video of it, shot in the neck, and it goes viral, and people are happy saying, "Oh, he was for gun, he was for rights to have gun. Now he's dead because of a gun," and people are happy about it. At the same vein, for Republicans to politicize this and say, "Oh, these evil liberals," all of this is disgusting. And what I want to say is both the right and the left are disgusting, but by extension, not just the right and the left. America is a disgusting, violent country, which the gun violence is out of control. Kunle Williams, who's with us. Kunle, how many murders are there in England every year in the whole country?
Between under 250, around 200, 220, 230.
Okay,
Between
in a
that
city like
ballpark
Chicago, in a city
a
like
year.
Chicago has had up to 1,000. This year they might have 500. That's just one city in America. I don't know how many murders it has, tens of thousands of
Averagely
murders
40 to
like
50,000
that.
murders a year in
Yeah,
America. Gun
they're,
deaths,
they're,
actually.
they're talking about and notice that the liberals and Republicans are talking about Charlie Kirk getting shot in the neck, which is really bad. Okay, it's really bad. But there was no level of outrage when that young individual shot somebody in, I think it was in Minnesota, in school. There was a shooting in Colorado years ago where 50 or so kids were shot with automatic weapons. And I'm not taking side because the Democrats will say that the Republicans um, are for a lack of gun control. No, no, it does. It's not the guns that are doing the murders. It's Americans. America. Once again, I'll say it. It's a violent country, and the level of violence that the U.S. government has extended to the world through the CIA, through assassinations, through wars. Millions of people have died because of Americans, and Americans are cool with it. They don't protest it. They sit down. And a lot of times they pump their fist and say, "Yes, we're the strongest country in the world." So I'm looking at this murder with him as not a symptom of political turmoil. It's a system of a country which, at its root, has violence as its main religion. What are your thoughts, Kunle?
Yes, I actually agree with every single thing you just said right there, despite our colorful conversations earlier. You're 100% right on the money. It's very unfortunate. And before we begin, I want to say that despite my belief that Charlie Kirk's opinions were odious at best. You should never celebrate political violence in your country.
Yeah.
I can make noise about anything. I'm not an American. But if you're an American, you should never celebrate political violence because political violence is double-edged. So even though I'm not going to rejoice his death, but at the same time, I'm not going to mourn his death. Because my concern is that now this man is a martyr. He is more effective dead for the far right cause than he was alive. There's nothing to celebrate there. And this culture of violence does not allow dialogue. I said that the one saving grace of this gentleman that died was, to be fair, he did believe in dialogue, despite the fact that what was coming out of his mouth was verbal diarrhea. He still
Yeah,
actually
but let's keep it straight.
dialogue,
But
his
keep it
dialogue
straight.
was
Let's
promoting
even keep it straight.
violence.
He wasn't a proponent of violence in America. He was not a proponent of violence.
No, he
And
wasn't a proponent of violence. No, but he was a proponent of supremacy and racism and all
yeah,
these
but
other
that
ugly
I can
things.
understand. Let's say he came out. I'm not saying shooting shooting Netanyahu is bad. What if he came out and said, "Yeah, let's go bomb those kids in Israel. Let's hang black people." That's different. So at the same
But he
time, the
did
way they
have
vilified this
questionable
guy.
values on that as well.
Yeah,
He
yeah, no,
did
no.
make some.
Listen to what this guy said. A lot of his values are in line with you, Kunle. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but against you're a more conservative Christian. You're against gender role changes and things like that. These are the types of things he was saying. And then he would say things like maybe black people need to get their act together in the hood. But there's nothing he said which comes close to him being vilified to the point at which people are happy he's dead. Now, if let's say they shot Netanyahu today for all the war crimes he did in Israel, I would still be appalled then. So if I would be appalled that someone who's close to a Nazi got killed in public, how much more for someone who has no traceable dialect towards overt racism or violence? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you
Well,
see what
he
I'm trying to
was.
say? Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not a racist
There are
person.
even rumors. There are even I have to do more research. There's even more. They're showing that he was beginning to criticize Israel and question the money they spent. So what I'm saying, I mean, I'm not going to go down this line, but the liberal media vilified this has vilified the right so much. Trump was almost shot in the head. Do you know what would have happened to America if that bullet had entered Trump's head? Do you know what would have happened to the world, the stability of the world, if that had happened? Let's go back to the other guy who's the leftist hero. They have pictures of him as a saint, Luigi, for shooting shooting a CEO who owns a medical insurance company in the head. So,
Charlie Kirk doesn't believe Palestine exists, though. He made that argument.
oh yeah, so he does. So he doesn't believe that exists. By no way should he be vilified for that at that
No,
level.
I'm not. I'm not. He should not be killed. There is no doubt that when
Not only
somebody
should he not
has
be
those
killed,
kind of views,
not only should he not be
I would
killed,
rather, yes, I would rather
and,
defeat them by
and I
argument.
would even argue that the same people attacking him, they also support Palestine. The Democratic Party supports Palestine even more than the right, even more than the right. So there's no need to.
So many people have supported Israel from the
Oh
beginning
yeah,
of
yeah.
that war.
That's an American thing.
Some of
Americans
them are
support
now
Israel.
backing out because they all know
Yeah,
that has taken the war thing too far. A lot of so many right
yeah.
wingers are now, like coming into like, no, this war have to stop. So
Tucker
it's not about
Carlson. Yeah.
even me from the beginning of the war when it started. I supported Israel, but now I'm now saying that I know now they should stop it. Even Trump now is even looking to end it. So it's not something that we all supported all through, or whoever that is supporting Israel from the
Even
so
I supported Israel on October 6th. I am ashamed to say it. I
Yeah.
was supporting them
You guys,
on
I'm the
October
only person
6th.
who supported
you
Israel,
don't need
who
to
supported
accept because
Palestine for the
nobody
past
knew
30
it would
years.
get this far. Nobody knew it will get this far. We all think that it's something that probably a month, the whole Hamas killing will end, and you all see what is going on now. So it's all politicians playing politics
Yeah,
all
yeah.
around
Yeah,
the
we were
world.
So
lied
let's get
to,
back to
and
track.
truths were held from us. That's
Yeah.
why,
So let's
not
get
that
back
we
to
were
track.
inherently
We
bad
won't talk too
people.
long, but my argument is that Meanwhile, the liberal, and let me, when I say liberals, I'm being over exaggerating. A lot of American people who identify as left are see this as a positive outcome, or at least not a bad outcome. But they don't realize that it's a sign of a country which is headed towards civil war. This is a
Of
sign of
course.
a country which is headed towards civil war. It's a sign of a country in which the only way that disputes can be solved is through guns. And you see it throughout all of American culture. In the black neighborhood, he took my girlfriend. What do? You get a gun, you shoot him. He took my neighborhood. I want to sell drugs in that neighborhood. What do you do? Took my gun. In America, white teenage boy ain't got no girlfriend, ain't got no tongue game, ain't got no dick game. Oh, I feel inferior. Now I've got a big gun. Let me shoot everybody in high school, especially the fine girls who don't date me.
In my own
You see what I'm
opinion,
saying?
yeah,
In America, everything is solved by guns. He disrespected me. She disrespected me. I have a gun. Americans, if you're watching the show, and I'm not a preacher or a prophet. Well, I am a prophet. I'm a prophet of doom. You're going down the drain. The violence in this country, and it starts. It doesn't just start with Charlie Kirk's rhetoric or liberal rhetoric or right rhetoric. It starts with a country in which there's crime in black cities and nobody gives a fuck because it's not in their neighborhoods. It starts in a country in which everybody's overarmed and use guns to solve problems. It starts in a country in which your tax money right now is being used to kill kids in Palestine and to cause a war in Ukraine, which could lead to a world war. That's all I have to say. What thoughts do you have, Mr. Said? And then we'll finish
yeah,
recording. Yeah.
yeah. Like you said earlier, we all know that guns don't kill people. It is people who use guns to kill people. But I
Yeah.
want to buy the opinion of some of Democrat lawmakers and politicians that is asking for more tighter law on gun,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
believe it is too easy for most Americans to get guns over there. I really don't know. I heard
Definitely.
you guys can get it over the counter. So I think there should be more restriction on that. On that side note, I want to talk about the politicians too. The politicians
Yeah.
knows that a lot of Americans. Look, I have no statistics to back this up, but I want to believe that so many Americans are a little bit not mentally okay. So
No,
some of
mental
these
illness is
politicians,
horrible here. Yeah.
yeah, so
Easy.
some of these politicians,
But I know
some
what
of
you
these
mean, but just
politicians, some of these
No,
politicians,
no, he's right. There's insanity, and I'm not gonna lie. Americans are ill. Look at this video that I sent to you guys with the guy dressing up. Uh, Obviously, this guy has been raped when he was young. Remember that video I showed you with the guy dressing up like a girl with hair and totally warped mind. Not only that, straight people. This is not about going after sex, but Americans have anxiety. All of Americans, not all of Americans, a lot of them
yeah,
are on antidepressants. They're on ADHD drugs. There's a lot of stress and pressure in America because America is a extreme capitalist country in which people are overspending, in which people have warped body images. You see slim girls going to the bathroom to vomit after they eat because they think that they're fat. They don't realize they're skinny. There's too many different types of pathology and psychopathology in America mentally. So you're right about that, Mr. Said. We'll continue.
so
Sorry.
the point I was trying to make there is that some of these politicians they know this, so they just say things that against their opposition, and they know that some of their followers might carry it out. Just like what just happened. It is some of these doctrines and some of these things they say on media or politics. Like I still believe that there should be some form to make sure that some of these politicians are cautioned, or I don't know, probably by
Yeah,
sue them or something.
so basically you're saying that the
Some of these
politicians are
doctrines
inciting
they
violence.
use.
They're inciting violence.
They might
They
think that they
are.
are
They
playing
are.
politics, but it's more than
Yeah.
that. Some of these deranged citizens, they come out, and we can see what happened to Trump, and now, and a lot of all these, so many ideologies and so many of these rhetorics that they might think that they are just playing politics. It is not politics. I think there should be some law or something to stop this, or else it will continue. Because I know
What I'll
that
also say,
not about me talking about Democrats or Republicans. They both say that they both use some vulgar languages and stuff, but I'm just saying that there should be some form of restrictions on politicians on how they talk about their opponent or opposition or something, because it's really, really getting out of hand.
what I want
No,
to say about the Democrats is that they're using this to gain back some relevance because ever since Kamala Harris lost, they've been disappearing into irrelevance as a viable opposition. This, for me, does not give the Democrats any more, does not make me like them any more than I did before, because I cannot unsee the fact that both of these parties supported an apartheid state in the act of committing a genocide. So one says, I'm racist. One party says, oh, I'm not racist, but really I am. So that's how I see the two parties. And American politics needs to stop being based on race. Otherwise, you can't progress. It's going to remain violent. And if this political violence, if somebody else retaliates and it becomes tit for tat and it gets out of control, you have chaos. So that is another reason why I know inside of myself I was celebrating, but it's irresponsible. But we should not allow political violence to come out.
Here's what I have to say. You're looking at a country which has school shootings. You're looking at a country, neither Democrat or Republican has any. We don't have any leadership in this country, and also we don't have any culture of learning how to civilly and non-violently express ourselves. And not only that, we are funding and continually funding a genocide and ethnic cleansing in the Middle East. And the citizens don't care enough to shut the country down, and the politicians don't have the will. So the advice that you've given to the politicians and to the people is good. But if you're willing to kill people outside of your house, what makes you think you won't be willing to kill people inside of your house? Because we all know that external or internal violence it works both ways. People who are externally violent are also internally violent. It's because we can kill children in Palestine that we can kill ourselves, because that's our form of violence.
Yeah, don't forget 70 Palestinians were killed on that same day.
Most violent people are also self-destructive. Do you see what I'm saying? Psychopaths are self-destructive. So what I'm saying is that America was founded off of slavery and war and genocide. The Americans killed off the Native Americans and they used black slaves. So now you're looking at the first people who started this country were psychopaths. And they've done studies in sociology. If you are a psychopath, most likely your child is going to be a psychopath or a sociopath. So it's a chain that goes back to the roots of America. And Americans, whether they're on the left and the right, they have this exceptionalism in which they think they are the moral authority of the world and the greatest country on the earth. And to me, that's why they're having these problems now. What do you think, Saeed?
Yeah, I quite agree with what you say. Like, it shows you guys, like I said earlier, about the mental health of so many Americans. So, yeah,
and this sounds funny. You have to be crazy. I'm serious. You have to be crazy to enter a ship and come all the way to this place to start again, because America was a wild country. People came here, then they had to live like animals, and they had to live off of their own means. Like, it's just like you move into the jungle and you don't have your cell phone or anything else. Americans took a big risk coming here. So those are already mentally ill people who say, hey, let's go out and have an adventure, let's go. So it's in I believe it's in the American DNA also. And then can you imagine being brought from Africa as a slave? The stress that you go through. You're put on a ship and sent away from your family, and white people are whipping you, sleeping with your daughter. You know that most of these white slave owners were sleeping with 12-year-old girls. And that's why Black Americans are light-skinned now, because of rape. So your mom was raped. If your mom is raped, she's not going to be emotionally stable, and she's going to take it out on you as a child. Then you would take it out on your children. So what I'm saying is that Black Americans have a legacy of trauma. You're being taken from Africa, you're taken from your religion, from your culture, and you're put over here. There's no way you'll be mentally correct. Do you see what I'm saying, Saeed?
You know what I noticed on Facebook this afternoon? I posted something about my own opinion about the background of Tyler Robinson.
Yeah.
And the white American guy saw it, and immediately his reaction to seeing it wasn't to disagree with me, which is okay. You can disagree with me on the facts if you want to. His reaction was to say that I'm a racist person that hates white people.
Yeah, because you're
black. For me, one of my friends who's a white guy that went to school in England loved my comment.
No, and that's the thing. For example, once I put something like, oh, what's going on in Palestine is wrong. They read my name. They say, yeah, you fucking Arab. I say, man, I'm a Black American, man.
Yeah, they don't go to the point. Yeah. They go after you instead of the subject matter.
All right, but anyway, we'll continue this one. We'll have more fiery one based on our Facebook stuff, our YouTube, not our WhatsApp discussions tomorrow.
Shall we move to the second one, the one in Britain, the